Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Smack Connection with the weekly comic grab. We've got a decently sized haul this week, so let's get started. Kicking things off, we've got Alpha Flight number 2, where we left off after the massacre at the Hellfire Gala. Orcus has managed to, by having operatives within various government agencies throughout the world, basically set up a whole, any mutant found to still be on Earth will lead to the death of the first time 10 humans, but yeah, multiple humans. The various agencies, including Department H in Canada, have set up, are bringing to bear their various super teams to handle the mutant problem. Canada is utilizing their longtime superhero squad, Alpha Flight, to do so. Alpha Flight, it has been rounding up mutants for Department H, or at least attempting to. Of course, that's because they're working in conjunction with former members of Alpha Flight, or with former members who are Alpha Flight who are themselves mutants, North Star or Aurora, as well as Aurora's lover Fang, and various others to help mutants. Their current plan is to get as many members of Alpha Flight, or as many mutants as possible, to the Shi'ar throne world of Chandalar in an effort to keep them safe, at least until it's safe for them to return to Earth. But Department H is basically trying to one-up the Star Sentinels with Box Sentinels, created by the son of former Alpha Flight member Roger Box. So, the mutants that have been saved are not exactly having the best. They don't seem to be entirely fond of how everything is set up. The fact that they're having to just kind of stay at a facility known as Krakoa North in Manitoba. Though Aurora explains to one that it's for their safety, and if they were to go outside, well, that would potentially lead to Department H being able to find them and attack Krakoa North. Recently, Alpha Flight apprehended the mutant Argent, who was then rescued by Aurora and North Star and their Krakoan resistance. But Shaman's checking Argent over, who prefers to just go by his real name of Laurent. He's not trying to be a hero anymore. He's just trying to, exist. And Shaman explains that what's been done to mutant kind is neither fair or just. And he promises that Argent will be safe at Krakoa North. There's a letter to Argent to his mother. We also see Fang and Puck talking with Emperor Zandra of the Shi'ar Empire. They can't just explaining that they have their own issues right now, so they can't get to the ship. But if they can get whichever mutants they can get to the Chandalar will be safe. Will be welcomed and safe upon arrival. There's also some a bit of butting heads, or a bit of a small disagreement between Guardian and North Star, and the idea that Guardian thinks it best to, you know, to actually apprehend the dangerous mutants, and the ones who pose no threat to anyone are get rescued by Aurora North Star, and rightly so. Um, mutants are kind of like, maybe just let us rescue them all, or as many as we can, whether you deem them threats or not. Another plot point from the first issue is that a man named Albert Lewis, or Lucas Peterson, for a former member of Beta Flight, um, was cornered at his work by Orcus and escaped and is on the run, with law enforcement attempting to apprehend him. He turned in a diner in Oregon, and he's been recognized. Police are on their way, and the owner of the diner tries to make sure he stays there until they arrive. But it was like, yeah, everyone get out. Turns out that also the former Alpha Flight member Nemesis is who has erected a force field around Krakoa North to prevent mutant signatures from being noticed. It's taking quite a bit out of her, honestly. But she still wants to do what she can to help. Alpha Flight gets word of Albert Lewis's predicament, is en route, but the director of Department H explains that they are not to do so. If they cross into U.S. airspace, they will be arrested. And besides, since they're an hour out, but the box sentinels are already there. So Alpha Flight turns around. They aren't happy about it, but they turn around. A squad of box sentinels. The squad of box sentinels show up to bring in Lewis, who takes on his energy form. And yeah, he makes pretty short work of multiple box units. Though one of them does manage to get it to punch him, and he feels it. But as this is continuing, Nemesis, Aurora, North Star, and Fang show up to help out. That is where the issue ends. I'm liking this miniseries, and I stated this last month of the first issue. I'm glad that it's very much a case of that Alpha Flight is trying to do good from within. Though I completely agree with the sentiment that they should be trying to rescue as many mutants as possible, not just the ones that are deemed non-threatening. A big point of the Krakoa was the idea with the amnesty. It started up in House of X, was that amnesty for mutants is due to the concept that most mutants with criminal records had criminal records due to the fact that they lived in a society that wasn't for them. Frequently, it was not uncommon that it's not uncommon within a young mutant's in any mutant's origin, really, that the emergence of their powers leads to arrest, or at least being viewed as a villain. Especially, oftentimes, mutants' powers manifest, especially if it's a more destructive power, it tends to be extremely destructive because this mutant has no idea how to control what it is they're doing. So, yeah. But yeah, otherwise I'm liking the book a bit more than I thought I might. I kind of got the feeling from the fact that there was going to be an Alpha Flight book that Alpha Flight wouldn't be full blown government stooges, but I admitted to myself that was a possibility still. After all, Guardian was recruited by Orcus after the first Hellfire Gala. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Dark X-Men #2. Where we left off, Madeline Pryor had formed her own team of X-Men with hookers and blackjack. Well, okay, no hookers, no blackjack. At least as far as I know on either of them. Blackjack's possible now with the fact that Gambit's been recruited, so after he's always got playing cards. But their first attempt at a rescue went awry. This was Maddie's team trying to help Gambit and Archangel, and I think also Maggot. But yeah, Havoc was was very badly injured, and as was Archangel, to the point where Archangel was captured. Though Zero of the Dark X-Men, as it were, managed to take Albert, the Donald Pierce created android designed to look like Wolverine, took him prisoner. So, turns out that Orcus has their own Madeline Pryor, a variant thereof that ended up shall we say, a forgotten corner of limbo, and had been there for quite some time, basically losing everything anything that would remained of the woman she was. And she has plans for Archangel. At the Limbo Embassy, Maddie is attempting to save Alex, saying that if he dies on her, she will bring him back for the sole purpose of killing him. There's some dissension in the ranks. Azazel and Maggot are butting heads. Maggot is especially displeased with the fact that Archangel didn't come back, but Zero brought the Wolverine android back to play with. We get some background. There are two Orcus agents that are working specifically with their Madeline Pryor. Agent Kroll, a former AI specialist, was dishonorably discharged from SHIELD, the SHIELD Robotics Division. A court martial was considered to determine whether his studies into the pain thresholds of AI were considered human rights abuses under extant definitions of machine consciousness. He worked under Hammer, where then Deputy Director Victoria Hand described Kroll as needlessly cruel even by Hammer's standards, and reported that Kroll displayed unhealthy fixation on the Iron Patriot armor. He also seemingly worked with Arno Stark during the recent Machine Revolution, and it's believed that many of the unaccounted for machine casualties can be attributed to Kroll's research interests. The other is Agent Valens, who was a member of Le Bureau Discrete, France's enhanced intelligence agency. Her specialty being in the arcane. It's believed she made a deal with a demon, sacrificing the lives of her unit after discovery of newly uncovered ruins. She was the only survivor of the team. It's also believed she is currently a Scarlet Woman, taking assassination jobs within the magical community after Doctor Strange's recent death. The only witness who connected the two, the Valens and the Scarlet Woman, was later found dead. Um, Maddie seems to bring back Alex, though he looks. I would hazard to guess. I would likely say he's probably been brought back closer to death than life. But Gimmick talks with Alex and Maddie. Apparently, she's considering a name change to Faint. Evil Maddie does what she's going to do to Angel, making him a weapon for Orcus. And turns out that Kroll is conducting research on LCD. And he tells LCD that Albert's black box is functioning as intended. Everything he sees and hears is coming through as clear as day to them, which pretty much makes him an inside man. But Maddie utilizes her own cerebro, the Mercy Crown, to see who all needs help, which mutants have survived. We get glimpses of Alpha Flight, Iceman, or not Alpha Flight, but rather mutants working with Alpha Flight, Iceman, Mystique, Bishop, Callisto, Wolverine, and various others. Azazel teleports the entire team to Mexico, where they split up. One team consisting of Zero, Havoc, Maddie, and Faint. The other consisting of Maggot, M-Plate, Gambit, and Azazel. The second team is teleported away to help someone else. Meanwhile, Maddie and her team head towards the location mutant they're trying to specific mutant they're trying to save. The group that Gambit, Azazel, Maggot, and M-Plate are going after are some of the Morlocks, who are in South China Sea, or the South Asian Sea, just outside of Madripoor's maritime borders. The sun's rising, it seems, and Callisto notices something coming as Archangel flies through the boat, killing two of the Morlocks that were present. I'm not sure which two specifically they were. Also with her, though, are Beautiful Dreamer and Sunder. Sunder has been cut, and it's a bit wobbly, doesn't feel so good, as Gambit and his team show up, with Azazel wondering what the hell happened. And, well, Angel's circled around, and Callisto points out that he's what happened. And that is where the issue ends. It kills me that that Archangel got made evil again, but it's a trope I really wish Marvel would just stop. The X-Men writers would stop going with. It's like, we need a shock villain. Let's make Archangel evil again. Okay. Like, I get it. He was a horseman of death. There's likely a lot of, if you're using magic, there's likely a lot of dark energies that a mystical a wielder of the mystical arts can key off of to take control of Angel. Then there's also the possibility of utilizing celestial means, and there's a lot of ways to go about it. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Uncanny Avengers number 2. Where we left off, the Avengers Unity Squad were dealing with the Mutant Liberation Front, led by the fake Captain Krakoa. There's some. We'll discuss possibilities who this Captain Krakoa really is. But Captain Krakoa managed to break Captain America's arm. The fight is not going well, but Black Widow shows up to surprise Captain Krakoa with a bullet from a sniper rifle, using the corpse of an Orcus operative to rest the rifle on, giving Cap time to escape. Though he states even with his broken arm, he'll just have to fight. He'll just have to fight. He'll just have to fight Captain Krakoa with one arm then. Quicksilver goes after Andreas Strucker, knocking him out, and then goes after more Orcus troops, but ends up being exposed, getting gassed. Blob tries to convince Monet to work with them, and Captain Krakoa says, "Hey, there are enemies. We can't try to help. They've sided against us." But they escape in the stolen Thunderbird. Black Widow attempts to pursue in an old shield clunker, though the Fenris twins blast it. One surviving Orcus operative pops a cyanide pill before they can get any information from him. However, it is stated that they all have high quality psi blockers. So even if he hadn't, they couldn't. It's not like they could pick his brain for Orcus secrets. At Ellis Island, where the Unity Squad is based out of, Deadpool has brought something to help Cap out, one of Bucky's old arms, to help his give the Super Soldier Serum time to mend Steve's broken arm. Throws the shield just fine, but Rogue stated that she intends to take over the Unity Squad, with Quicksilver stating that they don't think he should be the one leading the team. Rogue adding that they want Cap around, but positioning him as the tip of the spear is a mistake. Deadpool, Cap doesn't seem to blink really to it. He has to go meet with he's got a contact to meet with. Deadpool points out, making a really good point, that kind of a dumb idea. Saying, people think he's funny, but mutants are the real crack-ups. All they do is lose. He said, he hasn't had time to change his underwear since the mutants last lost a war. There was the first mutant massacre. There was the new one. It's a frame job. Several infernos. Wade doesn't even know what decimation is, but it sounds bad. And how do they react to Cap being injured? They want to chase away the one guy who you always bet on. The one guy who never loses, even when folks around him do. He's Team Cap. When the chips are down, you can't start making fearful decisions. Then Wade also wonders what Orcus wants the U.S. military nuclear weapon for. The stolen nuke is a bit of contention between Orcus members MODOK and Dr. Stasis. MODOK doesn't mind. Almonds and eggs, after all. But the Mutant Liberation Front promptly put to sleep by Captain Krakoa, with the exception of the Fenris twins. Andreas is reading before he goes to bed, while Andrea is showering, and Captain Krakoa goes to see her in the shower and removes his mask. It's apparently someone she knows. he tells her that if she tells anyone the truth, their next embrace will not be so gentle. Which does lead me to question as to who Captain Krakoa is, though it's already been a question. Anyway, turns out that the contact that Cap is meeting with is Ben Urich. Urich knows something's very off, but what? With the whole Hellfire Gala story. Meanwhile, the Soul nuclear warhead is being kept secretly underneath Empire State University, where nothing bad with radiation ever happened. Certainly not a spider being exposed to radiation, which then bit two people, or two teenagers. Well, one teenager and one kid. Nothing like that ever happened with ESU. Okay, but that is where the issue ends. Good issue. I had to agree with Wade, actually. I mean, I get the idea of it being an optics thing. Because, it plays into the Orchis. It can play into the Orchis narrative to a degree. Oh, look, Captain America's fighting Captain Krakoa. But yeah, I mean, but having Rogue lead the charge against Captain Krakoa, that's not something they'd want to explain the optics on. Rogue, we got nothing. As for who Captain Krakoa is, there's the prevailing theory that I've seen is that it's Nuke, which makes a lot of sense. Also, it makes the scene with Ben and Cap a good callback to Daredevil Born Again, wherein after Daredevil beat Nuke, Cap basically showed up at Ben Urich's office and dumped Nuke's body in front of him, saying, "Yeah, this is what's going on." However, recently I've been reading the Thunderbolts omnibuses, and the interaction with Andreas Strucker leads me to think that maybe this Baron Zemo is Helmut Zemo. Possibly even I think a clone perhaps of John Watkins III, the original, the Citizen V that Zemo usurped the identity from before the beginning of the Thunderbolt series, as the two of them had a fling. So we'll just have to see. Nuke makes sense, but it also feels, I don't know, a little. It feels a little too obvious. One of the maybe a Watkins clone with Zemo's with a copy of Zemo's mind in his head. I can see that too. So, anyways, we'll just have to see how it plays out. They can't keep it a secret for too long. I am really enjoying Uncanny Avengers though. Full stop. Moving on though to our next book, we've got Uncanny Spider-Man #1. So after Sins of Sinister, it was revealed that the monstrously that while he appeared more monstrous, Nightcrawler was used to commit a rash of vicious murders, largely targeting outspoken opponents of Krakoa. And this led to him leaving the Quiet Council, taking a break from Quiet Council, and entrusting his vote to Storm. he was not, and he was not at the Hellfire Gala. So, turns out that he's taking on the identity of, he's taking on the identity of Spider-Man. Not pretending to be Peter or Miles, just being, you know, using the Spider-Man mantle as a means of hiding in plain sight. A couple of goons that have stolen some frozen organs tried to lose him in Central Park because, well, he can't swing up high in there. But Kurt tries Spidey banter and it doesn't work. But he runs into some unhoused people in the park who are appreciative of his arrival, including woman wondering where her baby is. A Star Sentinel shows up, detecting a mutant, but something throws the Sentinel off Kurt's scent. But it turns out that most of these indigents are, you know, they're at least they buy they're buying the propaganda. Spidey and Nightcrawler talk about things including Nightcrawler trying to get advice on banter. And it turns out that there's a ghost vamp that is also apparently helping Nightcrawler out. The telemetry from the Sentinel that ran into Nightcrawler is being studied at an Orchis facility. This seems 95 routine gene patrol. Morphology, skill set, vocal signature, analyst division, ran the numbers. 97% sure it's Nightcrawler, but didn't register didn't register as a mutant. But this particular Orchis site is overseeing a program called the Hound Program, which appears to be utilizing mutants to track mutants, including former Morlock turned X-Force member Farrell. Also of note is just who runs this facility. Director Vulture. And it appears that Adrian Toomes has managed to get some Technarch upgrades to his Vulture suit. Technology he's also utilizing for the Hound program. But he outsources bringing in this new Spider-Man who rescues a jogger in the park who's being attacked by a mugger. The jogger is quite pleased with by Spider-Man saving him and saving her, and has tons of questions. But then the mugger is revealed to be Mystique. And so, Spider-Man teleports his mother away. As for Orchis, they decided to do some outsourcing. They've hired the Wild Pack to bring in this new Spider-Man. Though Silver Sable isn't entirely sold on the whole vicious monster. Though I gotta say, Silver Sable working for Orchis, that's disappointing. Also, she thinks Nightcrawler's cute. That is where the issue ends. Strong start. This is actually something I wouldn't. This is one of those I wouldn't mind seeing continue. Things like this make the Marvel Universe feel more cohesive. Like, sure, okay, Wolverine and Spider-Man reluctantly team up on occasion, okay, but having a member of the X-Men, you know, not just an X-Men adjacent, not an X-Men adjacent character like Deadpool, but an actual long-term card-carrying member, basically working along, taking on the Spider-Man mantle to hide, yes, but still, it makes the universe feel more cohesive and connected. Oftentimes, an issue of Amazing Spider-Man feels completely disconnected from Avengers, Fantastic Four, X-Men, Doctor Strange, so on and so forth. Even though with a lot of those books, a lot of those Marvel books, they take place in the same damn city. Which, yeah, okay, it's quite possible that Peter Parker could go an entire day as Spider-Man and not run into any of his super friends, but not entirely unlikely either. Moving on though to our last book for the moment, we've got Wolverine number 37, beginning the Last Man Standing arc. So Wolverine was not at the Hellfire Gala, and he's kind of just said, yeah, he's not there for Krakoa anymore. He's there for mutants, but not Krakoa. But he's on the run. Something he's not fond of. Jeff Bannister manages to contact him. Get basically helping him find the missing Wolverine clones that Beast let loose, including and so he's sent first into Canada, the old Howlett estate. Finds various corpses that appeared to have bones chewed open and marrow sucked out. In those parts, when you eating human flesh, transfers a curse upon you. The curse of the Wendigo. And yeah, that Wolverine clone has turned into Wendigo. But Wolverine does what he can to fight him off, but the Wendigo takes a bite out of him. But another old friend of both the Wendigo and the Hulk and Wolverine shows up and takes out the Wendigo. Hulk. Banner's done what he can to help Wolverine, stitch Wolverine up and help him heal, but and pretty much destroy that Wendigo. Banner speaks with another messenger. This time about in Japan. There's a cult that appears to have formed that seems to possibly be worshipping one of these clones, using said clone's blood as a means of giving people eternal life. Banner and Wolverine get captured by the cult, and they get Banner turned into Hulk. Yeah, it's causing problems, which, yeah, Banner's not happy about that. One more, though. Madripoor. Someone's used patches back in Madripoor. Banner goes to do intel while Logan makes himself known. But he's sold by some security. He's not supposed to be on the floor. Banner manages to steal a key card, make his way through, but Patch is brought to the office where he belongs, and wouldn't you know it, Patch is already there. Because Solem found him. Basically utilizing Logan's rep as Patch to take over the Madripoor underworld with seemingly Patch at his beck and call. But he puts the Wolverine clone and Banner into fighting pit. Banner hulks out, and Solomon says it'd be even more fun to throw Wolverine in there, have a three-way fight. Wolverine snags the Muramasa blade from Solomon, kills the clone. Hulk basically tells Wolverine exactly where he can stick it as BS, saying that Wolverine's almost as bad as Banner. And, well, Wolverine hops a boat and sets to sea. Focus on the next bit of trouble, bringing down Orcus and bringing back mutant kind. That is where the issue ends. I'm liking it. It seems it wraps up the at least part of the Weapons of X fallout pretty succinctly. All three, the three remaining Wolverine clones are dead. Beast is still at large, but well, yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Big shout out to Patreon patrons Xander Lee. Thank you so much for your support. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.